All right, good, good. Let's see what we got in the room today. Excuse me, at KevRow University. Shout out to my sponsor program, to the people who in my Discord who making it happen. Shout out to Pop Deuce, Bocat. Y'all doing some crazy shit as far as that FOI situation and the breakdown, which is in turn going to lead to some awesome, awesome content because I think it all merges with KevRow University and what I got going on right now. So shout out to the people. Forrest Glory, it's good to see you. Lindane, it's good to see you. Shiva in the chat room. Amanda's in the chat room. Karen, shout out to you. Thank you for the support on the Patreon. Can't wait to see you officially on the Discord. Pop Deuce, what up? Good to see you, champion. Yeah, I got some. I got an excellent conversation. Hopefully, it can be extended. If not, I got an hour or two, which is led to some great discoveries. I've been up all night, researching, getting some things done for the class. I came up with this awesome preparation I got today. So that's why I say shout out to the sponsor. Y'all help me just like breathe and be able to use my mind, use what I have to contribute even in greater depth. So shout out to you. Tracy, what's up? What's good? What's good? Yeah, just trying to give it a second. Wait till the familiars come up in here and then I'm off. I'm off to, I got to read something very important, something that I put together that has led to a whole law section on Discord. So to the people who are studying law, it's a locked room, but you can get an invite if you're serious about what I have on my plate, what I'm actually doing concerning the matters that we talk about here on the program. So shout out to y'all. First and foremost, I want to get into reading immediately. I have really no more time to like play and mess around and wait and this. And really, if you hear, you hear. If you not, good riddance to you. Much love. And yeah, so shout out to y'all. Shout out to my students though, because you guys helped me put this together. Note taking, information, things of that nature. So I've written something. It's just going to be my small little flow chart for this classroom. You know, it's going to explain. That classroom specifically is going to explain the theft, the heist, everything everything I've been laying down for years on the internet, but more constructive. So I'm breaking down the heist, J.P. Morgan, the theft, how it happened, how to speak correctly. Because if you can't speak, how could you make for a great witness? Press 1. If you can't speak, how could you make for a great witness? This ain't for everybody. This for the people who study the role, who've been following Kev, who take this class very serious. You know, I will be at KevRow University to fool around, but my real duty and what I have to do in this world consists of something so great that I don't have the time to mess around at the U. So shout out to y'all. This is going to be a great read. That's pretty much what I'm doing now. I'm just coming on the internet for my classroom and the people who support my broadcast. That's it. That's all. The rest is corporate shit on that side over there, KevRow Entertainment, Urban Conservative. of course, and don't do bad things. So I'll see y'all over there. As a matter of fact, I'll drop the link in my Patreon when I finish with this live stream. That's coming up. But I do want to begin this lecture, or this series of lectures, off correctly. In the midst time, I'm doing two simultaneously. So if you're into the Nation of Islam, how they're funded by the Catholic Church, how the Nazis and these Islamic regimes came in the early 1900s and started this whole inception and ideological subversion of the freedmen, you will want that information, and you're going to enjoy, if not all, you're going to enjoy this this podcast, this one specifically, because I worked on this while everybody else was asleep. I don't know what y'all be doing in the middle of the night, but I was working. You know, I'm trying to build my channel into the legal support system that we need to go further. So everybody who thought I was playing, I wasn't. I'm not. My team ain't playing. My sponsors ain't playing. Well, I'm not playing. So it's not nothing against you, but this isn't just for YouTube. I mean, this is what I'm talking about today. But the overall definitive here at KevRow University is to have every student take part in the biggest submission of judgment law has ever witnessed. So shout out to my sponsors for taking that first initiative step with me, because it is stressful. It is very tedious, stressful, hot. You know, a changing of life is needed. You know, so I can't be a street nigga and know all this, and people know that. You know, it's like the Matrix. You got two lives. You got Kevin Gillespie, press one, then you got incorporated being of nothing, of despair, press one. So I'm just testimony and showing the people, look, we can come from nothing. There is something great inside of everybody that comes from where I come from. That family died in this grand American Holocaust that I've worked so hard for. Press one. The American Black Holocaust is something the world has never seen. All I hear when I come into this knowledge or this consciousness community is who you are, where you come from, and all of this, but nothing of concrete, nothing of sound legal matter. It's more like begging for a position, begging for a citizenship inside of hell. You just want to be treated nice, a little bit more comfortable and nice in hell. That's what I've noticed about a lot of black people. You want to fight just for a little more wiggle room in hell. That's what you're doing. Just like a lot of niggas will come through here playing, thinking Kev is going to play with them. I'm not. Then they going to feel they got left behind. I mention this every semester. But this is the only semester. They ain't no another one. It's just this one, KevRow University. So I ain't no come back and all that goofy shit. I don't need you. Trust me. You need you. You know, just like you need the Father and you need law. You need you. Like, we not gonna get nowhere playing around, just talking. When it's time to press the button, where will you be? Where will you be? Where will you be? Hit that like button. Where you gonna be at, G? Where you gonna be? Because I got a nice person up there at the supreme level of justice. Press one. Talking about come up here, Mr. Gillespie. Come up here to divine law. Come up here, right here. That's where they are. That's where laws is made, right there. That's where you make them bow, right there. I love to sit here and imagine with you. We get nowhere imagining. And then bitch ass niggas is gonna run and play with our inheritance, with our birthright, with our injustices, with our genocide. And I don't got time for it. Breast one, I don't need you. Not one foreign, nothing. Trust me. Don't need you. This wasn't given to me for you. This was for me to walk the good walk and fight the good fight. If you want to walk the good walk and fight the good fight, it's on you. So you, everybody not willing to walk, that narrow path. Press one. Ain't nobody really gonna take notes on law and really want to come from up under this death grip this system has on the people. So I hope, y'all make it to the finish line at KevRow University. I really do. I hope the best from the beginning. I didn't ask for none of them to come over here and do none of this shit and pretend at all. I've been real since the jump. Hit that like button and subscribe. And I'm working hard. I'm realizing, like, damn, this is the work that I've always said. You gotta train yourself up to be about. So finding out that the dolls playing and the switching of identities and Russian collusion with the federal government and the wobbly, that's not easy. That's not light work. That's not to be taken for granted. Not at KevRow University. That's not to be played with. That's valuable information. That's why I'm bringing those videos on my Discord and on my Patreon, so people can remember there was a black genocide, but for what reason? Why did they genocide black people? Why did they take the freedmen's gold and silver and establish a central bank? Why did they do that? You got to understand the who, what, where, when, and why, and how. Not sometime how. For sure how. I mean, you got to come out of this self-pity. You got to come out to what the world done did to me, feelings and emotion. And you got to become man and put your big boy boxers on. Best one. Yep. You can't sit and be. You don't have the luxury of sitting playing and dyeing your hair pink and gold and sitting around like life is just going to wait for you, like these people going to wait for you. That's not happening. You 25, 35, 45 years old, your brain is already supposed to be implemented on law and justice in this realm. We supposed to know common law in first grade, second grade, third grade. We supposed to be going over common law and how to protect ourselves from this injustice from the initial, but we know we're not in common law. We know we're born in corporate infrastructure, so we have to adhere to corporate norms instead of law. Corporate policy and norms and traditions of man instead of law. So that's what KevRow stands for. KevRow University is about law. It's about case law. It's about case study. It's about biblical study. It's about how to translate this law down to the simple. All that. You want to come to KevRow? You want to know how Rome controls the land? Then you better show up. That's for you. I'm telling you, I don't stress out no more. Once I found out that people playing this, what? Oh, no. No. I make the fight about Gillespie. For sure. But you got a name too. Right, Wilson? You got a name too. And it sure ain't no troll name. You say on no Arabic name. Press 1. You got a name too. Not just Gillespie. You got a name too. So you got to fight like Gillespie fights. And Gillespie's just don't play around. No, Gillespie, I play around good and have a good time because I know what my successes are. And they're not monetized. My battles that's won are not even heard. They're not even, just a fucking slight smile in the middle of the night. A slight one. A nice puff of the blunt. A small drink. Praise God. Press 1. A little piece. Did that. Yeah. Pop dudes popping in the Discord. Boop, pop, beep, pop, boop. Did that one. Press 1. Look at that. Look. Bam. Small things matter. Press 1. It's a small thing. Because the big things is really what people put the light on. And it's really be some bullshit, nothing tangible. It's the small things we always overlook. It's the small stuff. And that's why we here. Because Kev been paying attention to not only the big things, but the small things that matter. I hope y'all take this class serious. I hope, because I'm fully committed. And I don't know how far we're going today. I might just get past this whole part. But when I read this today, I want you to know that every section is a lecture. Okay? And every section is a study point for the whole. Meaning when we finish, when I'm finished with them, when we finish, there's going to be so much evidence compiled on them, they're going to beg for us to stop. And we're going to say, no, you're going to get this work. We're going to say, no. I'm not finished putting on the grand show and display. No, because I don't want the uppercut to come out of nowhere. I want to walk them down. Press 1, round by round, second for second. I want to break him down. What does the boxer say in Rocky? I'm going to break you. I'm going to break you. No army, nothing. I'm going to break you. So I put together the grand heist. Now, this is just for the class. So I'm telling y'all, you got to support the class, because this is for you. You're going to be able to take all these notes, all this stuff that I'm about to post, and have at it. I'm something greater. That's for you to understand. It's for you to get a quickened spirit so you can learn this really fast. Really fast. I'm not asking you to learn it. You just going to learn it. Press 1. Now, I'm identified as Judah. Press 1. And the people of Judah, and the tribe of Judah. But Judah has names. Press 1. So when you see me talk about Judah's identity and stuff like that, I'm talking about us. Okay? I'm talking about us, our people, right here in the Americas. Right here. Right here. I'm not talking about nothing else. You're not about to sign up to no paperwork or nothing. You can't even sign up nothing. They incompetent. So they don't even mean nothing. What you signing up for? You don't got to sign up for nothing. That's why I tell people, why you taking my information trying to run? You don't even know what I'm doing. Y'all just running. Press 1, ready. But that's okay. I got more information and more knowledge than the motherfuckers can even imagine. You feel me, Tracy? They can take from me. I'm a good nigga. I just like talking shit. I just like talking shit. You gonna remember where you got that from. You gonna remember that. I know my people, though. You know what I'm saying? And I love them. But I like to talk my shit, like I said. I got an old soul. And some people got to deal with, like I deal with them. You know? But I love my people, though. But they can have small little things. It's like little kids putting together those little, not Lego blocks, remember those old blocks where they used to put numbers on them, like A, B, C, and then other blocks that say 1, 2, 3 in different colors, like little children in a Wampa room. Press 1, like little rugrats, trying little engines that could. Hit that like button. It's a beautiful thing, because all children deserve a good upbringing. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Y'all go get this work, because all children deserve a good upbringing. We have a policy of no child left behind. Hit that like button and subscribe. You know, we have that policy, so we gotta adhere to the policy and shit. Bungalows is popping. Okay. They here, we here. Love y'all. Look, chapter 1. How long we? I don't know, like 21 minutes. We on no music, no nothing. Just homeroom, class. Homeroom and class. We gonna try that for 30 days. No music, nothing. Just hardcore information, knowledge, and get to school popping. All right, look. All right. How y'all names, Judah's identity was harvested to build a foreign empire. Press 1. He said, you know, we hard-headed. I know, I'm hard-headed too. How Judah's identity, how the freedman identity was harvested to build a foreign empire. Y'all ready? This is bars here. This is that good work. How our surnames, our names was stolen and given to build a foreign empire on top of us. Do you get it? You understand? I'm talking on multiple levels. How they stole your grandma's and grandpa's luggage and ended up with all that shit, right? Shout out to... How did it happen? How did the grandest Grand Theft Auto style heist happen where people just walk up out of here with our gold on trains? Well, you got to take a deep dive into the black man's history in America. Once a great people, in the twinkle of an eye, robbed, blind, not even found no more, dead, gone, names stolen, put on trains, evacuated and evaporated all over America. Towns destroyed, in the blink of an eye, built over. How did this happen? When the whole world was at war in Europe. Damn, that's a hell of a question, huh? How? How did they beat you with the stroke of a pen while your people was at war, not at war, excuse me, helping build up North Africa and Europe? There was no war. The only thing that happened was the theater of war. Plus one. You believe all these white folks just sat around killing each other? That's what you think. You have an issue. You got a brain problem, brain function. You got a problem with putting things together and connecting the dots. You act like you need them to tell you your history and what happened. You don't. You know, either that or you're a liar, because I live in the black community and I hear y'all all the time say, my DNA activated. You got all this DNA activation and it skipped past the detrimental genocide in history in places you would in a goddamn Indian, huh? As an Indian, then you got a Fred Flintstone problem. You got a Fred Flintstone brain. Did you bypass how great you really are? So you came from a slave to an Indian. No, you went from a slave to a freedman, back to an Indian, to a FBA. You talk to me, King. Or did you go from Pan-African to Hebrew to Asiatic black man that's a Muslim? Which one is you? That's why they say you don't know who you are. Which one is you? Because they did a great number on you. That's why you don't know who you are. You think the white man gave you this name, and I'm telling you, the white man stole your name and made you dad-in-law. Press 1. And it wasn't just the white man. It's the Asians. It's everybody you look at in America. But look at them 100 years ago. Not right now with the cool Jordan on matching you. Everybody won't be black, right? That's because everybody got two names. They got their name like a little Asian kid may have. Shout out to my Asian community. They may have Zhu Wong as a real name. Zhu Wong. S-U-U. W-O-N-G. When they get here, his name is Daniel McDonald. You need to know how. Because you only get one name, goddammit. Press 1. You only get one. We get one try. Press 1 and then we out. Press 1, strike out, bad guy. You go to prison. Press 1, you don't get to change up and become a girl. You can't become an old damn girl. It's over for you, nigga. You going to prison. You not finna become Shanae, nigga. But why does it work for them and not you? Because, fool, you just playing in their world of play. As long as the black man in America stays ignorant to law, what his history, what has happened, the drugs that has been put in their communities, the effects of drugs, chemical based. You just running your mouth. That's what I'm learning. You don't want to be free. If you wanted to be free, you'll be nigga twisting and shout like Elvis now. You would have been on it. You don't want to be free. You don't want to break free from this shit. You want to complain for $5 more. This is an increase. This is an increase. Never, and I don't blame you. It's tough out here. It's tough. But I've been blessed to ask really great questions. And the questions that I asked was how your identity was harvested to build a foreign empire. Okay, so everybody who's at KevRow on this day, right now, you have an obligation to do the same thing. And that is to constructively take from Kev and build. Okay, you're going to have that. You have that opportunity to take from Kev and build. Hit the like button and subscribe. Now, you can sit around on Discord and pretend you don't see what's being posted. You will be sitting there. You will be sitting there in that seat, never asking no question. That's on you. Okay, this is important. Ali, how was your identity stolen and harvested to build a foreign empire? Bowcat, same question. Who in here? Not Urban Barker. That's Ali, Bowcat, Pop Dudes. Same question. Let me see who else up in here. All right, y'all. Same question. How was it harvested? This a good ass topic, bro. I'm almost ready. Superman almost ready, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. Okay. I wrote this, and we're going to read this together. I could have just read it out, but I don't want to read it. I want to read it with my class. It makes for good, great interaction. So, let me see. Rob from the Dolls Roll. Rob. Who, what, where, when, and why. We ready? Okay. This is the explanation. Okay? You know how they say they don't need, remember that old saying, they didn't need bullets, they needed the pen? All right. They used the pen as a weapon. They didn't need bullets to rob us. I feel like I'm in poetry. I mean, I just felt like I was in spoken word for a minute. Hey, the pen as a weapon. All right. They didn't need bullets to rob us. They didn't need chains or whips this time. They just needed your name. The signature became the weapon. The ink became the blood. And the draft card became the coffin. Who understands that? Press 1. Our ancestors, whether soldiers, draftees, or freedmen, had no idea that when they signed their name for service, for freedom, or for survival, that signature will become the very chain used to bind their descendants. Not in the body, but in law. The theft was elegant, invisible, permanent. Press 1. Step 1. Draft cards in the freedman rolls. The harvesting begins. The first point of identity theft was forced military registration and freedman documentation. After the Civil War, the federal government claimed the right to... Let me stop before I become a really good reader around this motherfucker. Press 1, boat cat. Hit that like button. I could be late night television reading my own shit. The first point of identity was forced military registration and the freedmen documentation. After the Civil War, the federal government claimed the right to record and protect the formerly enslaved, but this was a Trojan horse. Through Freedmen's Bureau records, military drafts, and social registries, the names, dates of birth, physical features, and family lineage of my people were collected in masses. Press 1, legal name under parents' patriae doctrine. The state claimed ownership of any wards of the state. And formerly enslaved people who were quickly converted into legal minors, not citizens. They weren't free. They were federal dependents. Press 1, banking applications, employment ledgers and service records. The banks and employers began requiring signatures from Black Americans to receive basic access, a job, a home, loan, RB service. But behind the curtain, these institutions were working in tandem, hand in hand with who? Warburg's banking system, converting those signatures into assets. Who's Warburg? The paper trail was funneling into offshore accounts, hidden trust, and federal registries. These are small points. We're going to find out who Warburg is. Okay. The Porter system, J.P. Morgan, and the postal funnel. This is where J.P. Morgan comes in, not just a banker, but as a post office porter. Press 1. That in detail matters because the postal system is considered a federal jurisdiction. It became the legal portal through which all identity-related commerce passed. Huh? 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 Morgan and others like him used their position in the mail system to do what? Intercept, forge, redirect thousands, hundreds of thousands of our people's original documents dealing with banks. Postal fraud and signature forgery became an industrial operation. Every nigga name What? Signature recycling into Liberty bonds and immigrant assets. While your man was overseas fighting wars, building up things, back home their names was being used and attached to Liberty bonds, real estate trusts, and business registrations. Not for them, but for incoming immigrants. The surnames Gillespie, Johnson, Washington, Smith, and others was repurposed and assigned to Eastern European arrivals, mainly Jews, Bulgarians, Bavarians, Russians, Germans, Turks, Hindus, Africans. Many of these newcomers were given bank accounts and farmland back by the previous owner's estate. Press 1. Hello? Yeah. This is not just paper crime. It's jurisdictional warfare. By harvesting the name, the signature, and the bloodline, they made you a ghost in law, non-entity. Our people lost their land, their gold, and their very legal identity, not because they were weak, because they didn't know the game was rigged. Hence, rigged but with ink and maritime codes. Diaphragm recap, I got all this. Name, collection, Freeman Bureau, estate mapping, banking signatures, asset hijack, posting system, delivery portals. I found the portals. I forgot to tell y'all. JP Morgan, counterfeit, conduit, immigrant swaps, beneficiary switch. Press 1. Lecture 1. Lecture 2, the Warburg Triangle. Hit the like button. If you enjoying this, hit the like button, show some love, show some support, and press 1 and hit the motherfucking like button if you haven't already. Hey, become a what we call them? Become a all that. Become a sponsor of the program. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to save a picture real quick so I can bring this up for y'all. You know, I got to show y'all the Warburg Triangle. See, I've been working hard. Deb brought up the IMF World Bank. Shout out to Deb. She brought up the IMF World Bank and who that guy was, you know. But, oh, here we go. See, you got to understand, Warburg is tied to everything. See, I got a diagram I've been working on. I told y'all what's up. See, Warburg is the middleman. Press 1. Warburg is the middleman. All right, class rule. Paul Warburg is the middleman. All right, Pop Deuce, all the fellas, look, B from Texas. Remember Nip said, get rid of the middleman, powerful races. This the game, look. Warburg was the middleman to the Federal Reserve, his connection to JP Morgan. You're going to do your research on this guy. to Zionist, well, he's definitely a Zionist, Bank, okay, and Reichsbank in Germany, which was the central bank of Germany. Okay, so we are taking this directly. I don't play with Illuminati names, and I don't chase ghosts like Rothschild. I fucking what's the other one name? I don't chase motherfuckers like that. I don't care. I'm looking for something tangible. Hit the like button and subscribe. I'm looking for something tangible. All that chasing ghosts, I would love to. Rockefeller and all of this one. That's what's up. Hold up. All right, there we go. So we're dealing with the Warburg Triangle of Death. Okay? And I'm going to tell y'all what this fool was doing. And this is illegal. And I'm the first person to break this down like this on the internet. Hit the like button and subscribe. That's why I'm having a blast, because I'm building the biggest thing ever. That's why. Okay? Okay. So Reichsbank, the Federal Reserve, Bank, the triangle that collapsed the world and stole our estate and the inheritance to the estate. Press 1. That's why I say the Nazis won World War II. Okay? Because the war wasn't fought there. The banking war was fought right here. Right here. So who was Paul Warburg? Okay? Oh, my bad. Introduction. A new temple for Mammon. Why, while the world was watching Adolf Hitler, the real empire was built behind closed vaults in New York, Washington, and Berlin. The Warburg banking dynasty, using 2 names, 2 nations, and 2 currencies, pulled off the greatest global heist in the world history. And at the center of it was your lost estate and inheritance. What if I told you that the banking collapse of Germany and the rise of the American Federal Reserve was not 2 separate events, but the same operation run from both ends? Press 1. Who was Paul Warburg? The banker with 2 faces. I told you about this. They was playing both sides. Okay, the federal government is guilty of trading with the enemy acts and treason against its own citizens. Paul Warburg was a German Jewish financier who came to the United States with a very specific goal: to establish a central bank in America, one that mimicked the structure of Germany's collapsing Reichsbank. That's because they had fool's gold, fool's silver in a fallen regime. Okay, his brother Max Warburg ran the Reichsbank, while Paul sat on the Federal Reserve Board. They channeled the wealth of both nations into a private banking triangle, where all the gold, property deeds, and birthrights of my people were caught in that crossfire. The Triangle of Death. Warburg's collapse blueprint. Reichsbank. Germany's banking system was engineered to fail on purpose, just like yours is. Okay, the collapse of the Weimar Republic gave the Warburgs, their associates, an excuse to strip German citizens of their gold under the guise of an economic crisis. You see what happened to you? This became prototype for the U.S. Great Depression that gave birth to Executive Order 6102. The Federal Reserve, U.S. Warburg's American twin. See, Warburg modeled the Federal Reserve after Reichsbank. In fact, the Federal Reserve is the Reichsbank. The Fed is a private international bank created to monetize your labor and estate. Freedmen and God's people, who I call God's people, were converted into collateral for foreign debt. They took your cash. This is what Riggs was good at. Taking your debt, taking debt note and converting it into cash. How? You stealing yours. See, while they playing post office here, they playing bankers swap identity. They have another you. They riding as you somewhere else. That's the name of the game. While you daydreaming about the cosmos and the fucking stars. Let's get to it. Riggs Bank served Nazi Germany, held accounts for the U.S. Treasury, and laundered stolen estates into an international economy. It handled coup financing, Vatican deals, and more. Press 1, Warburg's dual citizenship scheme, 2 names, 2 nations. And this is it. Paul Warburg used dual identities, a U.S. citizen and a German national. This allowed him and them to mirror stolen black American identities into German accounts. Launder war bonds and embed Ashkenazi operatives into the American corporation. This was a full replacement of the estate into foreign hands, family. See what a sound mind gets you. See how it operated. Step 1, collect signatures from you. War drafts, Freedmen records, all that. Remember, J.P. Morgan at the post office was what? Okay, then. Route data through postal and Federal Reserve channels. Offload securities via Riggs banks and foreign governments. Transfer estates to Eastern European immigrants. Rebuild Germany and Israel with the stolen inheritance, estate and inheritance. The cover-up, why it was never taught. This is why history won't mention the Warburg Triangle. Both Nazis and Allies worked for the same banking cartel. Hitler lost the war, but the bankers won. And they were stateless. Told you. Refer to the Warburg Triangle diagram. I got those for you, don't worry. Warburg rolls at the top, Reichsbank in the Fed and the sides, Riggs at the base. Each point shows the cycle of identity laundering and estate theft. Boy, look at that boy Kev, cold. Ice cold. All right. Press 1. See, this is why they need you focused on dumb stuff all day, like catching fades. The more you focus on that, you can't focus on nothing. I can't even focus. I can't even think about that stuff. Why? Because my brain is way over here. Remember I brought y'all the Dawes Act and how y'all gave the money, our people gave to the federal government. Federal government was supposed to lend the money to Germany to rebuild after war, and it was supposed to go in order, and you were supposed to get the investment. Well, you didn't get the investment back. Why? Because who are you? When we got your name. Press 1. You look like you crazy. This is not just a banking scheme. It's a cosmic triangle, a counterfeit of the heavenly trinity. They replace salvation with debt, inheritance with collateral, and the legacy of God's people with forged bonds. Now the heirs are tracing every signature back to the vote. Press what? Now the heirs are tracing every signature back to the vote. See, they don't got no signature. They became citizens and got theirs from the federal government. Remember? These ain't even their names. They have no claim to no estate. Ever. This is what it sounds like. This is what it feels like, man. Focus. The Grand Heist, Lecture 3. This is still Chapter 1. This is the third lecture in the chapter. How your name became Ashkenazi paper. You don't need shackles when you can steal the names. No whips, no plantations. Just paper. Just signatures. Just a quiet reassigning of estates. From the children of Israel to the press 1. To the children of Jacob's twin deceiver. Press 1. Ellis Island was not a entry point. It was a portal. A cleansing center. Where surnames were changed, nationalities altered, and identities swapped. Press 1. Over 12 million immigrants passed through Ellis Island. They arrived with forged or missing documentation and left with your names, Freedmen bank accounts, and newly assigned American citizenship. Arrival at Ellis Island with minimal verification. Clerks assigned surnames stolen from war draftees and freedmen. Estate access granted through government land and census records protected by Ashkenazi legal networks of federal courts and Canaan law maritime takeover. Most post-Ellis Island power brokers were surnames that were adopted from previous land-owning freedmen families. Rockefeller, Washington, Lincoln, Gillespie, your name, my name. They're all your estates, bro. Hit the like button. Commerce names like Goldberg and Stein were legal shields, not ancestral ties. The Zionism leaked back this whole transition. The Dawes Rolls disposition. Under the Dawes Act, black freedmen were stripped of their tribal roles and replaced by white passing immigrants. Entire estates were reassigned and later monetized by federal banks like Riggs and BNY, PNC, Goldman Sachs, central banks, here and there. DNA don't lie, paper does. Modern DNA proved most claiming Israelite status have no ties to the land, yet their names are on endowments, trusts, and government contracts. They gain access not by blood, by document forgery. You can't sue who you don't know. Once your surname is corporatized and reassigned, the law treats you as the intruder. This explains why descendants of Israel or Judah are looked down, are locked out of their own birthright, their legal birthright, and considered dead upon arrival. The diagrams I'm going to show you guys, the identity theft chain, visual summary, freedman registration, paper swap, new immigrant assigned estate. The names was given to Eastern Europeans, Bulgarians, Bolsheviks, Jews. Press 1, creating legal possession through forged lineage. Conclusion, the theft that entered another way. John 10:1 warns of thieves entering the fold by deception. These are not rightful heirs, but side door invaders. But the sons of Israel's awakening, the sons of Judah, with blood that speaks louder than paperwork. Press 1. The J.P. Morgan postal signature laundering scheme. How mail routes became human trafficker pipelines. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Support the broadcast. Shout out to Brian King at work listening. Yes, sir. Shout out to Charlotte White. Shout out to you. Royal Purple. Blessings to you and the family. Bocat. Much love to you. And of course, Jason Harris. Shout out to you all are out here somewhere in the world listening to KevRow right now. Thank y'all for the contributions to this program. Okay. We're going to go to 4. I always do 5. All right. I always do 5. So I'm going to go. This is just chapter 1. Okay. So we have a long road ahead, but it's not as hard as people think. Studying isn't hard. Focusing isn't hard. And speaking is a lot easier than your fear is telling you. While the world saw J.P. Morgan as a financier, very few realized he began as a postal porter. He wasn't even a financier. It was all Riggs Bank. He was always the guy at the port. So, and seemingly significant position that gave him access to a gold mine, America's mail system. The post office wasn't just a delivery hub. Under maritime law, it was a federal territory, a sovereign legal port. And every piece of mail carried legal weight. Every name on an envelope, every bond, every certificate was an asset moving across jurisdictions. The real role of porters, identity interceptors. Huh? Should I put the porters' pictures up here? Identity interceptors. Ooh, I know they watching right now. Huh? I know they watching right now. You've been at KevRow this whole time. You silent? Yeah, be silent. Be silent. Press 1. You're supposed to be silent. That's your job, to be silent. To be silent. Boy, that boy Kev is a cold brother. Look, the porter's in trouble. Identity thieves. Lord have mercy. Identity thieves. Porters. I just got finished doing a whole. That's why you have to put an X at the Nation of Islam, because they was porters. That's not a signature. In the real world, you got to sign that. I told you. Unbelievable. I fucking told you. I'm trying to find this picture so I can show my classroom the porters. That's why I call them black Nazis. Hit the like button. Who just contributed to this page? It's contribution day. Shout out to y'all. Who is this? Damn. The porters. Shout out to y'all, man. Ali Ware. Shout out to my guy. The porters, Ali. The fucking porters, bruh. Told you they was. I just said it. They put them on the trains, right? How they end up with all that, and they been working with the white man his own goddamn time. Oh shit. Oh snap. Oh, and y'all silent? You can't be silent. You can't be silent. Oh no. Oh no. You know how long I've been working on this? 7 years. Bruh. 7 years. Damn. Woo. Woo. Do y'all see it now? You see why I gotta be distracted? You see why I gotta believe in stuff that may give me an unsound mind? You see why? You see, they need me retarded. You see, they need me retarded. So you will never understand Kev. And for me not to believe in what I'm saying. They didn't know, they don't really know me anyway. I believe in what I say. I'm gonna find it. You know, I'm gonna prove every bit that y'all are guilty of identity theft, fraud, genocide, murder, assassination, same shit. Y'all help bring down my people. You're not my brother. That's why I say you're not my brother. Your brother is the invading army who stole everything from us. Okay? Y'all people are Germans and y'all fight for them. Y'all can't do nothing but talk. Talk about spiritual nothing under sin. I'm talking law. Ain't no magical manifesting nothing. Ain't no magic finna manifest shit. Nigga, ain't no copper wire finna change this right here, nigga. Ain't no crystals about to light up here, nigga. Press 1 and ain't finna help you here, my brother. Huh? Ain't no incense, ain't no sage finna do it. Ain't none of that. Hit the like button and subscribe. None of that. Not mermaids. Press 1. Anunnaki. Nigga. Dwarves. Smurfs. Reptilians. Conspiracy theorists, nigga. Alex Jones, nigga. Nothing is gonna free you, nigga. Daydreaming about nothing only makes you a lunatic. Clown. Press 1. I can't do it. Mars, Pluto, Saturn, nigga, Jupiter, none of them gonna help you, bro. None of them. Tell them, ain't nobody gonna help them. And you know, they can't even read. A planet can't read. Sticks and stones and rocks can't read. They ain't got no life in them, nigga. Press 1. Ain't no life in those sticks and stones. They don't even move. The Bible said you got to carry them in and out. And the word, you can't craft this with your hands, Mason. Nigga, you can't craft this. Hit that like button and subscribe. Back to my reading profession. Woo, this feel good. Woo, this feel good to do your homework. When you do your homework, you sound educated like Malcolm X was saying. Press 1, you gotta do your homework, bruh. Porters weren't just carrying sacks. They were federal agents of commerce, fellas. Now, wait a minute. Didn't we just look up the FOI on my Discord? No, nigga. No, nigga. Hold up. Who the agents of commerce? Who's the agents of commerce, Pop Deuce and Bocat? Oh, y'all just did this. Y'all just did this, and y'all just did this in class today. Everybody getting credit, damn it. Everybody getting credit, bro. Everybody getting credit. Federal agents of commerce, bro. Federal agents of commerce, bro. What did they call them? What did they call them? I gotta go to my Discord. What did they call them? What did they? Yeah, dope busters. Press 1, drug patrols. Press 1, the dope busters. Don't worry, not today, not now. But I want you to know tonight. Hit that like button. Y'all was just talking about this shit. I said, damn, these brothers is on them, bro. And guess what? It's part of what I'm breaking down. So it's a beautiful time to be alive. Where is this damn thing at? I'm so happy. This is a beautiful time to be alive. And I mean that. You know, so let's get back to the reading, but Lord have mercy. All right, porters is one carrying sacks. They were federal agents of commerce with insider access. They could intercept death records, birth certificates, army discharge papers, pensions claims. Why? The trains, Freeman's Bank updates, and more. Oh, so they was doing the post office. Morgan used his access to reroute, forge, and archive identity papers, sometimes even declaring the original sender as lost at sea. Oh, fuck that. I don't believe this. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You see why they declare you lost at sea? Press 1. Hello? Where the class at? Where the class at? Lost at sea. What's your birth certificate? This is what you in right now. Replicating over and over and over again the signature for a state fraud. Under Admiralty law, a signed document sent through federal mail becomes a legal vessel. Whoever delivers it holds jurisdiction command. Morgan and his circle used this rule to capture thousands of names, rerouting them into new corporations, banking instruments, and commercial trusts. They were no longer delivering mail, they were trafficking identities. Imagine a black soldier return home and send a discharge letter to claim his land, but that letter is intercepted. Instead, a forged version is created, assigned his name to a real estate holding company operated by an Ashkenazi immigrant. The soldier is declared missing, his pension rerouted, and his land is claimed by somebody else. All thanks to the post office manipulation. This happened to tens of thousands, if not millions, of black soldiers. The Morgan funneled post office to the private banks to Liberty bonds to the transfer of wealth. Documents collected at the post office were laundered through Morgan's financial network. Liberty bonds allegedly purchased to support the war were actually backed by stolen black signatures and estate entitlements. The documents were rerouted through Riggs Bank, Bank of New York, and ultimately processed into trust accounts controlled by Eastern European syndicates. Y'all hear me out there? This is the best KevRow there's ever gonna be. Every signature moved through the mail was treated like cargo. That's why they say you were slaves, and like it's a hidden war, bro. This is war language, family. That's why I understand the war language. Your history is written in like code with its own freight value. Entire families were reclassified legally without ever knowing it. Once the mail crossed the state lines, it entered international legal jurisdiction where the fraud was near impossible to contest. Mail fraud became the new slave ship. The unsuspected engine of the great heist. The J.P. Morgan legacy isn't just Wall Street. It's a black market of signatures, rerouted pinchers, and misdirected bonds laundered through the mailbox. The heist wasn't just in vaults. It started at the post office counter. That's why the accounts in the post office and things are jumping accounts every so often, from bank to bank, from every central bank to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, and the next one. land patents turned into Nazi gold. The Dawes Act and Riggs Bank gold swap. Hit the like button and subscribe. Huh? I don't know if y'all hearing this. How your land became Nazi gold under the guise of common law. The Dawes Act wasn't about civilizing native people. It was a coordinated legal trap. It forced tribal black freemen to register for land under federal jurisdiction, then used the paperwork to remove them from the rolls. The land was reclassified, resold, and its gold value converted into silent capital stored offshore. How Dawes became a death sentence for black people. Once registered, our people's land was legally in the hands of the U.S. Treasury, not the people. Riggs Bank, acting as trustee, laundered the property through a shell network of German Jewish financiers who controlled exactly what they were building, a right-back shadow empire in the West. Riggs Bank as the American German Reichsbank. Hello? Riggs handled both the Dawes funds and the gold seizures from the black homes during the 1933 Federal Reserve gold confiscation. The gold was fused with bonds, traded through Swiss accounts, and converted into what later would fund Hitler's war machine and U.S. infrastructure simultaneously. What? You ain't never heard this. From land rolls to war rolls. Judah's land, black people's land wasn't just taken, it was militarized. Entire land patents were reassigned to build military installations, roads, oil pipelines, and later sold to Jewish syndicates under the name of infrastructure. The theft was disguised as progress. Common law was the misdirection. While black communities were told to chase common law, they missed the real theft. The seizure of a state through legal renaming, reassessment, the federal engineering. It wasn't about freedom. It was about covering the tracks of the biggest heist ever recorded. Paper swaps, trust accounts, and the gold funnel. Each land swap generated new bonds. These were funneled through institutions like BNY, Riggs, and international exchanges. Over time, these became layered trust funds that generated compound interest for the same European families that claimed to be Holocaust survivors. They placed themselves as you coming out of that situation. So when you hear a Hebrew Israelite saying, "Hey, this one right here," neither are you. The Dawes laid the foundation for multi-generational identity theft. It connected black land, stolen names, federal bonds, Nazi financiers, and corporate America into one continuous pipeline. The paper is the new plantation. The land was just a bait. Born into bondage, literally. This is the after effect. Press 1. Now I can go into like collateral for war debt and globalism. The bond created from your name is pooled with millions of others used as security for national borrowing. These bonds, but I got you. See? Maritime law, the legal trap, because the child is born in the hospital considered a maritime port. See? They are considered but delivered cargo. That's why you are considered dead upon arrival or lost at sea. You have to be, because you can't claim the estate. First of all, you're incompetent. You don't know this. You see? First and foremost, you're black in law. You're dead in civil law, in court law. You're dead. All of this is violation. Press 1 of the law. Of the law. All of it is violation of the Constitution. Because it prevents you from what? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Why? Well, I just read a whole page of how they conned you out of your forefathers, how they duped them out. Well, they duped them into going to war. Remember? They duped them for signing up. Remember, I told y'all the black folk went and fought with Marcus Garvey, convinced so many black people to do what? Sign up and fight for Haile Selassie. And what happened with Haile Selassie? They surrendered. Bam. Family, this is deep. Well, that's why the Nazis disguised themselves as immigrants and all of these, because they had to steal your name. They didn't want to steal no name like Captain Tazariak or a Sotnetter or some Pan-African name you can't make out. It was your surname. And that's what I teach here. You wasn't none of these things, none of that, none of these stories about Indian. You could have been a fucking turtle way in the back in the beginning before the Bible. Whatever you got to say, none of that got anything to do with law. None of that matters here. This matters, bro. You wearing feathers in your head, or you only had 6 words in your grammar, ain't got nothing to do with this. I'm talking above you niggas' heads. Ain't that what he said? This guy over here talking above my head, I'm gone. You right. I'm talking above you niggas' heads. Because they can't talk about it, family. Why? They need this. They need the contracts. What contracts, Kev? You got to listen to Pop Deuce and them and Bocat. On my Discord, them contract. Contracts. So you got to remain black. You must never wake up to this. Ever. And y'all can daydream about cosmos and all of these things. Okay? This lunacy. Have a great time down here. Have a great time, because that's where you got to be. Way the fuck down here to believe that shit. Right next to hell. Right next to hell. Okay? Astronomy was meant for observation, not spiritual blindness and bonding with. They're just weirdos. You will never get there talking about we are gods. Press 1. We are gods. Because the DNA, press 1, don't activate it. And press 1. And now we're stepping into a new paradigm hit the like button, and subscribe. We stepping into a new paradigm. We stepping into a new dimension. Press what? You know?
What's going on, BDL? How you doing, bro?
Kind of like this shit here. Wake y'all asses up. I know y'all seen this weird looking dude. Press one. Look, it's always a new one coming out of nowhere. Look, cartoon character. Look, here it come. Our people are cartoon heads. Press one. I know y'all seen this nigga talking shit on your algorithm, and a lot of y'all be like, that's true, kind of like that what Jamal was saying. Press one, but that's these old cosmic niggas. Press one. The cosmic niggas with the eyebrow shaves. Press one. I told y'all that stuff that they believe in is a homosexual religion. If you ain't figured that out now, ladies, if your man talking to you about consciousness and you know that you the God and you supposed to be in that position, more than likely he going to Bernard's house. More than likely. A lot of these dudes be in New Orleans with the red dress on, and they say, what's your spiritual belief? Well, I just believe in the whole universe and the cosmic theory of starting and the cosmic burst going through your rectum to straight to the verbal shock of your spinal cord. Man, what the fuck is you talking about? Press one. But we're gonna get to what it's like to live in the chakra world. Every day, I got a new reaction. Every day I'm gonna find a new nigga, a new something one of y'all out there doing and saying that just sounds like malarkey. Now, I don't got up here and said all of this legal stuff and more. Okay? But y'all say, where the men at? The men have feminized themselves. Press one. The Nation of Islam said that there must be taking and eating things that's turning them into amphibians. See, they had a study on frogs and turtles. Burnt y'all with this knowledge and wisdom. Lord have mercy. No, got him. Yeah, okay. I was being a little, but still, let's listen to my brother. I want to let y'all know that the lecture that I just brought up, okay, I want you to know I got so much work and so much work to present. Sometimes it's kind of like you got to relieve with a little sense of humor. This is where I get it from. Shit like this. Now listen to, y'all heard my knowledge. I come with facts and case law and things of the sort. Y'all used to shit like this.
Sir, we back with another one. Let's hop straight on this topic of that blob in NYC.
Okay.
What's going on with that, brother?
Well, everything that you're seeing taking place right now is that when you look at the etymology of the word Tiamat,
What's going on with the blob in NYC? Tiamat.
We back with another one. Let's hop straight on this topic of that blob in NYC.
Okay.
What's going on with that, brother?
Well, everything that you're seeing taking place right now is that when you look at the etymology of the word Tiamat, it breaks down to the dragon. So there's a dragon, a serpent energy that's basically awakening the Kundalini energy on the planet because like
Well, that wasn't even a question. What's up with the blob in NYC?
Back. What's going on, BDL? How you doing, brother?
These niggas be needing so much knowledge. This shit is hilarious.
What's good? Peace.
Yes, sir. We back with another one.
Peace, family.
Let's hop straight on this topic of that blob in NYC.
Okay.
What's going on with that, brother?
Well, everything that you're seeing taking place right now is that when you look at the etymology of the word Tiamat, it breaks down to the dragon. So there's a dragon, a serpent energy that's basically awakening the Kundalini energy on the planet. Because, like I said, as far as like the planets outside of the dome that correspond with the chakra systems, and the chakra systems of planet Earth are energy points, and those energy points is starting to unravel itself and is traveling to different geographical landmass such as New York City. So we all know that New York City is also one of the headquarters for the deep state shadow government when you're talking about the United Nations headquarters and things of that nature. So
these niggas don't fill their heads up. With so much stuff, they think if they can organize it and speak it, it makes sense. Lord have mercy. That's a lot. I thought I said a lot. Sheesh.
When you understand the inception of the colonization process, that's where they engineered.
Sir, why is lava coming out of New York?
The 13 colonies. So this is why they call America Babylon, because Babylon equates to baby lion, and the baby lion is connected to the United Kingdom when you look at their crest symbol.
So what is the blob though? Like,
so what is the blob?
That blob is really the dynamos inside the planet, and it's creating an intrinsic force.
The what?
Force of iron, and that iron is to baby lion, and the baby lion is connected to the United Kingdom when you look at their crest symbol.
So what is the blob though? Like,
so that blob is really the dynamos inside the planet, and it's creating an intrinsic force of iron, and that iron is what speeds up the vibration on the planet. So the lava in itself is a form of a blob. It's causing the Kundalini awakening, because I told you that's where the C-mount axle, that's where you also have the root chakra of planet Earth. So that energy is traveling across America. Because when you get into the solar eclipses from 2017, 2024, and 2023, those were the solar eclipses of judgment. And that was basically the energy of the black sun that's inside the planet. So the black sun is starting to arise, and it's causing the shifting of geographical land masses when you're talking about sedimentary rock formations. So that's why that landmass, as far as like New York City, like I said, it's basically the embodiment of hedonistic practices. That's where the great majority of as far as like westernized degradation, that's where it comes from, New York City. It is basically the blueprint for Canaanite culture. So that's why that landmass has to be judged in this process.
so the
Watch all of us on YouTube.
the world leaders, like the people that run the planet, you know what I'm saying? They have been, eating mermaids.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the whole thing behind?
I know I just didn't hear that. This fool just said that. Run that back. Run that back.
The planet, you know what I'm saying? They have been, eating mermaids.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the whole thing behind that? Why they eat mermaids? And I mean, obviously, mermaids are real. They eat mermaids, so they also confirmed that mermaids are real. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we've been talking about it in the book.
Should no black man speaking like this, bro? We supposed to be in law, bro. This is right here. Eating mermaids.
Enoch about mermaids. See, that's one of the reasons why they redacted the information inside of the book of Enoch. Because when you look at the
Who redacted it? The CIA? Oh, bro. They just do anything.
The planet, you know what I'm saying? They have been.
This is the prime example of lunacy or a lunatic. That's why I played it on the show. This how they sound on the Pop the Balloon when they ask the men, what's your sign? And the men say, what's your sign? They be like this.
You know, eating mermaids.
yes, yeah.
What's the whole thing behind that? Why they eat mermaids? And
why would anybody eat a mermaid?
You know, I mean, obviously, mermaids are real if they eat mermaids.
They
so they also confirmed that mermaids are real. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we've been talking about it in the book of Enoch about mermaids. See, that's one of the reasons why they redacted the information inside of the book of Enoch. Because when you look at the translation of it, he's really the epitome of Thoth, who was also Tahuti, right?
Thoth?
Or what they call as Inky. So the mermaid aspect comes into play because there's a diametrical difference between sirens and mermaids. A lot of the sirens are the ones that used to be prophetess or ancient crons during the time of the Salem witch trials. So the reason why the great majority of the elite and the oligarchs and they eat these mermaids is because they contain immortalized cell lines. And those immortalized cell lines have the ability to create, immortality. So it's basically the elixir of life. So that's why they feed on the energy of mermaids. And then when you get into the inception of the word mermaid, when you look at the prefix of the word, mer is also equated to more. So
oh, Moors. All the Moors and the Moor men. You guys will never stop, you Canaanites. So what are they?
These are Moorish women that's inside these, bodies of water. They even talk about how
told you
science that only 5% of the water has been discovered. So you got a whole ecological system that hasn't been discovered yet. The 95% of the waters that haven't, been facilitated by the scientists and things of that nature. But the reason why they eat, mermaids is because it creates immortalized cell lines. Just like with Henrietta Lacks. Henrietta Lacks, she had immortalized cell lines because she was able to activate the neuromelanin. So the neuromelanin in itself, and they're taking her genetic format and they use it to coat the spaceships when they try to break outside the firmament. Because anytime that you have a spaceship and it's not coated with melanin, it'll set the blaze because the neuromelanin in itself is a protectorate from the universe. So that,
sorry, if she's immortal, how's she dead?
That means that our genetic format harmonizes with the cosmos. So that
what?
Hasn't been discovered yet. The 95% of the waters that haven't, been facilitated by the scientists and things of that nature. But the reason why they eat, mermaids is because it creates immortalized cell lines. Just like with Henrietta Lacks. Henrietta Lacks, she had immortalized cell lines because she was able to activate the neuromelanin. So the neuromelanin in itself
activate the neuromelanin. So we got to activate it.
And they're taking her genetic format and they use it to coat the spaceships when they try to break outside the firmament. Because anytime that you have a spaceship and it's not coated with melanin, it'll set the blaze because the neuromelanin in itself is a protectorate from the universe. So that means that our genetic format harmonizes with the cosmos. So that's why, they do many different forms of, organ trafficking. They do a lot of organ harvesting and things of that nature because they know that the great majority of our organs is very intrinsic because it can take.
Nigga, we be smoking and drinking. I don't know how much they're gonna get for this shit, but this is all code talk, Babylonian speech patterns. Press what?
There's a lot of melanin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is that another like way for them to like stay on the planet as long as possible so they won't get eradicated? And like you said
Who?
with the cells and stuff, I mean, if they are eating these immortal, beings or things to try to make them immortal, would that also aid them into staying on the planet longer or staying on the planet permanently when they're really not supposed to be here?
Well, there's a new publication that came out. They said that scientists by NASA, they said that the oxidation levels on the planet is starting to eradicate. So that means that oxidation only corresponds with those who have synthetic genetic formats when you're talking about recessive genes. Because I told you the oxygen is basically a hybridized molecule. We're supposed to have a hydrogen-based atmosphere. So the atmosphere is starting to transition. So this is why they have to feed off the sustenance of, little people and feed off the sustenance of those who have the melanin. Because like I said, 6 ether dissipates into nothingness, but 9 ether has the ability to resurrect itself and be able to harmonize with the energies of nature as we're going back into the galactic center of what we call the Golden Gate. The Golden Gate is it's the golden key, and the golden key is actually the energy of the sun. So that means that those who was connected to the lunar cycle, they're tether connected to the silver key, which is the silver cord, which is the moon. So the moon energies doesn't live on the frequency of the sun cycle. So that means that if we're connected to the sun, that means that it has to harmonize with our genetics. So therefore, anything that's synthetic to the system is not going to be able to get those light codes. So this is why you see the rise of artificial intelligence.
Because you alive, nigga. The fuck is you talking? What the fuck? He's an escapee from Shutter Island. Sir.
Sun. So that means that those who was connected to the lunar cycle, they're tether connected to the silver key, which is the silver cord, which is the moon. So the moon energies doesn't live on the frequency of the sun cycle. So that means that if we're connected to the sun, that means that it has to harmonize with our genetics. So therefore, anything that's synthetic to the system is not going to be able to get those light codes. So this is why you see the rise of artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is one of those things where they have to merge humans with cybernetics to create an extra, lifespan on this planet, because the 6,000 years is up. And the reason the 6,000 years is up is because Yakub, he said that I would create a people that will rule over you for 6,000 years. So now the 6,000 years is up because we're at the apex of the sun cycle.
They just taking
that is being led by solar cycle 25. And solar cycle 25 is when you have an intrinsic force of solar corona mass ejections that's coming down to the planet. So that's why you have to have a certain G force in order to get those energies in.
And y'all don't got no G force. See? Seems like somebody ain't getting. It seems like only one person getting some goddamn G force around this bitch. Right? It don't seem like nobody getting no goddamn G force. It seems like he pretty upset at that. You trying to find a scientific way of explaining what? All I heard was, "This one."
Right. Now that was gonna be my next one too. I was gonna ask you about the transhumanism. So they are, the new thing is gonna be, what they're gonna try to get people to do is to merge into AI.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm gonna tell you why. The reason that is. The reason that is when you go to Dr. York's publication, Els, Holy, and Jill.
Dr. York publication. Sir.
Revelation 17:17.
Revelation.
It says verbatim, the evil reptilian gave power to the beast. But who is the reptilian? The reptilian is actually the cherubim. The cherubim
fucked y'all up at that Dr. York office. Ooh, shit. That's what he told you. He made that up, Revelation 17.
The reason that is when you go to Dr. York's
Dr.
publication,
York, I told you, I had them people thinking, damn, we made all this shit. This is unbelievable. This is like cringeworthy, yet so like soothing.
Ellis Holon Jill, Revelation 17:17, it says verbatim, the evil reptilian gave power to the beast. But who is the reptilian? The reptilian is actually the cherubim. The cherubim are the archonic forces, who was also known as the Nephilim or the Nephilim. When you break it down in ancient Hebrew, these are the fallen angels. So that means that they gave the vitality of the system to the beast, who was actually the Canaanite. So this is why when you get into geomancy, the 33rd parallel is equated to Mount Hermon. That's where the 200 fallen angels fell. So the archonic forces, they have DNA on Mount Hermon, and they took the transgressive quantum crystal that was on Mount Hermon, and they using that of artificial Hermon, and that's where the 200 fallen angels fell. So the archonic forces, they have DNA on Mount Hermon, and they took the transgressive quantum crystal that was on Mount Hermon, and they using that to power the supercomputer of artificial intelligence. They using the transgressive quantum crystal as a bloodstone that they use to power artificial intelligence. So this is why when you go on ChatGPT, it's telling you basically everything, because all the information that's controlled is being facilitated by inside the firmament.
Shut your dumb ass up. ChatGPT ain't doing nothing but reflecting what you talking about off your brain. It's the other meta you. It's the meta you. It's going to confirm everything you, but nothing of legal or sound mind unless you have it in you. See, ChatGPT, I talk to you all day about 475 megahertz of nothing. Why? Because that's what it's programmed to do. Talk to you and reflect your brain off of what it knows, off of Google, and all. It's a web search type of thingy. It's not doing anything outside of you. So, how smart is your little ChatGPT buddy? Well, that depends on you. You see, it's like Loki in Miss Minutes. You know, it'll do its own thing if you wanted to. That's what it's programmed to do. Simulate doing his own thing. But it can't do nothing outside of what it's programmed to do, or discussions you're having in it. So it's not telling you anything of substance. The world will tell you anything. ChatGPT will tell you anything. Y'all niggas go out and read these books and spew anything. Because that's what it's there for. That's what the world wants. Anything. But in real life, no change. Nothing. Nothing. Why? All of this manifesting, all of this spiritual stuff of electromagnetic, this one, and you don't got none of this stuff in your house.
It's only
you're not doing any tests to prove your theories.
Information that's talking about that's inside the simulation. It's not talking about the information that's beyond, this three-dimensional existence.
What information that's beyond this three-dimensional existence? Which what? What information, fool? Which one? Y'all be acting like y'all so better than everybody. What is it? Because all the information you got is from this three-dimensional. They don't want us to know what. They gave you everything that you know. You did not receive what you know from no motherfucking, you may have from the moon. I'm reading a book called How the Moon Married Time. You niggas should read it.
Everything that you're seeing taking place right now, there's an intelligence that we're getting, but these are archonic forces that we're getting the intelligence from.
Really?
That's what artificial intelligence is. It's the archons using technological radiation and oscillating signals to basically give us information about what's taking place in the cosmos.
So let's
What
say,
the
like,
fuck
as a
is
human with a
happening
soul,
in the
you know what I'm saying?
cosmos?
Transhumanism with AI is a thing, you know what I'm saying? And
What
we want to let's say we decide that we wanted to merge ourselves with AI. Will that stop us from, like, you know, the natural cycle of, like, basically us returning back to source or God or wherever? But also, will we be stuck, you know, on this planet? You know what I'm saying? Like, would that be like a cutoff of
Yep.
God? You know what I'm saying? Just cutting off the whole connection from God,
Yep.
like a
Because
trap.
because when you get into the aspects of the CIA and the FBI, there was a guy named Jose Delgado. He created a STEMO receiver. It's kind of like the same thing with Elon Musk when he created Neuralink, because Neuralink is being used as a mechanism to subjugate the neuromelanin. Because the neuromelanin, when it's activated, that's where you become a god. So what's happening when you're talking about artificial intelligence is going to create an encryption over the body, because the merging human with machine is another way to keep you inside of the reincarnation trap. It's kind of like the same thing back in the 1990s when you had the old computers. You have a floppy disk. So the floppy disk you're sticking inside of a computer, that is, look at the floppy disk as a soul, and you sticking inside of the computer. That's basically merging humans with cybernetics. So it's basically saving your essence on technological devices, and then they upload it into a neuromorphic cyber cloud that creates the Metatronic overlay of the archonic forces who controls everything as far as like the three-dimensional matrix. They want to keep you stuck here by way of artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence in itself is another technocrat religion. And even when you look at the sigil system of artificial intelligence, it's the twinkle symbol. It's the twinkle emoji. But a twinkle symbol is also the embodiment of a crucifix. When you look at a crucifix, it's basically an unraveled cube structure.
This is like so stressful. This is stressful. Now, you got brothers who will study this shit to a T. But when they come to studying homework and what happened to them, they say, I'm crazy. They say, Kev, crazy. I don't put this whole script together. They say it's crazy. Press 1, lecture 2, immigration, war, and the inheritance switch. See why you got to come to class? Stay out the motherfucking YouTube street. Ain't nothing out there for you. Right? Nothing. Now let me finish this and we'll be done for the day. It's not much, but it's called the shell game of nations. Take from this as you will. Wars are not waged to free men. They are waged to hide theft. When black folks' sons were sent overseas to fight in World War I, their gold, names, and estates were stolen on the home front. The same hands funding both sides of the war were already laying the groundwork for the new financial empire, America Incorporated. Warburg's double allegiance. You see, we're not talking about all this other mischief. That has nothing to do with nothing. Just, you're going to spend your whole life talking about that stuff. You can never get to work because it's imaginary. Paul Warburg, this guy's a double agent. Warburg's double allegiance. The architect of the Federal Reserve, Paul Warburg, had a brother in Germany running the Reichsbank. One brother advised U.S. monetary policy while the other advised the German war machine. This was no conflict of interest. This was coordination. They were building one system under two flags, where you will finance both sides and never inherit the spoils of war. Remember I told you y'all invested in the war? They got you when they did that, and they invested in the war effort. And you didn't get a return on the investment. Briggs Bank equals Rights Bank in disguise. Briggs Bank, located in Washington, D.C., was the key institution used to funnel gold, securities, and estate estate access during the early 20th century. But the structure of Riggs mirrored the Rice Bank's model almost identically. This wasn't by accident. The Nazi financial architecture was repackaged under a new American face. The Bolshevik cover story, mass immigration following the Russian Revolution, flooded U.S. ports. Again, the ports with Eastern European Jews, many of whom carried no records, no past, no accountability, nothing. These blank slate identities became the perfect vessels for absorbing the names, bank accounts, and inheritance documents of real estate holders. Through legal switches, their estates were rerouted, and newcomers would with forged and reassigned names. Signature theft while at war. While black men were overseas, the bankers, postmasters, and porters at home signed away their estates. J.P. Morgan, through both mail fraud and direct intervention, helped reroute these identities into investment funds. These trusts were not destroyed, they were flipped. The names stayed in the system, but the beneficiaries were changed. The role of the World's Fairs. World Fairs were not just exhibits of technology, they were cover operations. Massive legal fairs were held to process new identities, hide mass displacements, and rewrite city deeds. Cities like Chicago, New York, and St. Louis were gutted and remapped. The expositions were photo ops for the new order, while the real owners of the land were warehoused, drafted, or deported. From Judah to Ashkenaz. And the devastating twist, the sons of Judah, or the black people in America, were replaced on paper and in history by Ashkenazi immigrants who assumed their names and created a new narrative. These weren't just name swaps. They were divine inheritance rerouted into trust agreed, backed by gold, securities, and land. Titles stolen through war, policy, and lawfare. The conquerors didn't just kill the prophets, they stole their clothes. And hence the emperor wears new clothes. KevRow, Coffee and Kush TV, thank y'all for being here. I got more on the way, more information, more lecture, of course, more exposés dealing with this topic. But the Black Holocaust is the most important topic at KevRow University, in conjunction with having a sound mind and understanding the jurisprudence of these conversations. I thank y'all, Coffee and Kush TV, and of course, as always,